welcome back to Sky Sports News, where we have some major breaking news.
The match between Manchester United and their rivals was always expected to be a tense encounter, but few could have predicted the dramatic scenes that unfolded in the final moments of the first half. Casemiro, one of United's most experienced and decorated midfielders, saw red in the 45+5 minute of first half added time, a moment that completely shifted the momentum of the game. The Brazilian, who was brought in to add steel, composure, and leadership to United's midfield, found himself at the center of controversy once again, as his disciplinary record came under scrutiny after his sending off. The first half had been tightly contested, with both sides looking to assert dominance in midfield. Casemiro, true to his reputation, had been heavily involved in breaking up play, distributing passes, and trying to organize his teammates. However, the game's intensity boiled over just before the halftime whistle. As the referee added 5 minutes of stoppage time due to injuries and stoppages earlier in the half, Manchester United pushed forward in search of a goal that would give them an edge heading into the break. Instead, the half ended in chaos. Casemiro went in for a challenge that, in real time, seemed firm but fair. However, upon closer inspection, the referee deemed it dangerous and reckless. His studs were raised, and the opposing player was left on the turf clutching his leg. The referee initially reached for a yellow card, but after a brief consultation with his assistants and protests from the opposition, the decision was changed to a straight red. The Brazilian looked stunned, protesting his innocence, but the decision stood. United were reduced to 10 men at a critical juncture in the game, leaving the second half to be played under immense pressure. This sending off sparked debate among fans, pundits, and former professionals. Some argued that the decision was harsh, pointing out that Casemiro made contact with the ball before clipping his opponent. Others maintained that the rules are clear about endangering an opponent and that the tackle met the criteria for a red card. In an era where referees are under constant scrutiny, every big decision is analyzed frame by frame, and this one was no exception. Casemiro's dismissal added to a worrying trend in his Manchester United career. While his quality on the ball and ability to shield the defense are undeniable, his combative style of play has often left him walking a fine line between aggression and recklessness. Since his arrival in the Premier League, he has picked up several yellow cards and has been sent off multiple times, a statistic that has begun to trouble both Erik Ten Hag and supporters who expected him to bring stability rather than further headaches in high-stakes games. For United, the timing of the red card could not have been worse. Reduced to 10 men, the tactical approach for the second half needed urgent reshaping. Ten Hag was forced to sacrifice attacking intent for defensive solidity, reorganizing his midfield to plug the gap left by Casemiro. This shift inevitably handed more possession and confidence to the opposition, who now had the advantage both numerically and psychologically. The sense that United's task had doubled was palpable in the stands, with frustration mounting among fans who had watched their team work hard in the first half only to see it unravel in stoppage time. The reaction of Casemiro himself was telling. The usually calm and composed midfielder appeared visibly shaken as he left the pitch. He exchanged a few heated words with the referee, shook his head in disbelief, and walked down the tunnel with the look of a man who knew the consequences would be severe. A straight red meant an automatic suspension, and with United facing a series of crucial fixtures in the coming weeks, his absence loomed large. This incident also reignited the broader discussion about Manchester United's reliance on Casemiro. While his influence on the team is undeniable, the fact that the side often looks vulnerable without him highlights both his importance and the lack of depth in midfield. Fans have voiced concerns that the club has not adequately prepared for moments like these, where suspensions or injuries to key players leave glaring gaps. With Casemiro now sidelined, Ten Hag will have to rely on less experienced or less proven options to carry the midfield burden, a risky scenario as the season's fixtures pile up. The opposition, sensing the vulnerability of United, wasted no time in capitalizing on the red card. They increased the tempo, moved the ball quicker, and forced United's depleted side into deeper defensive positions. The contrast between the first half, where United were competitive, and the second half, where they were forced into survival mode, was stark. By the end of the match, the sending off was the pivotal moment everyone pointed to as the turning point. Looking ahead, Casemiro's suspension raises serious questions. Can United cope without his defensive shield in midfield? Will his repeated disciplinary issues force Ten Hag to rethink how he uses the Brazilian? And perhaps most importantly, can Casemiro himself adapt his style to the faster, more unforgiving pace of the Premier League without leaving his team vulnerable to these moments of crisis? Football is full of drama, but few moments sting as much as losing a player in stoppage time of the first half. For Casemiro, this was another chapter in a career that has been defined by brilliance mixed with controversy. For Manchester United, it was a reminder that discipline, as much as skill, determines success at the highest level. The road ahead now becomes more difficult, and while Casemiro will serve his suspension off the pitch, his teammates must pick up the pieces and prove they can survive without him.